Sailor Moon is a Japanese icon. The anime Sailor Moon was originally adapted from Naoko Takeuchi's manga series, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, and the anime ran from 1992 to 1997. In North America, the anime was originally dubbed by DiC Productions, which is now, I think, Wildbrain, but it was then licensed over to Cloverway Incorporated. These dubs are infamous for their censorship and for their erasure of LGBTQ representation in characters such as Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus, turning them into cusbians, and censoring things such as body lines on characters and blood. I watched that dub as a child on Cartoon Network. I was born in 2003, so there were always like reruns and stuff, but nonetheless, it was an icon for me. I don't remember most of what I watched as a kid. My mom would remember the bulk of it, as she was the one that watched it with me. However, I remembered enough that when I watched the pilot episode dubbed by Viz, I was confused. This wasn't the voice I was used to. This wasn't the story that I remembered being told. I do remember how Usagi's emotionality and how she was so clumsy and crazy and cried over everything was something I could relate to. I was a crybaby when I was growing up. I was a kid that cried all the time. I was very emotional. That was just something very normal for me. And to be able to see that represented in a superhero and be shown, well, I could be strong not for having to be, athletic or intelligent. I could be strong for having a kind heart like Sailor Moon was really, really important. That is definitely something that I think both dubs of the show did a good job of conveying to audiences. In 2014, Viz Media announced that they would be redubbing the entire series to be a more direct translation of the original Japanese anime. I recently rewatched all 200 episodes of the Viz dub, and I have some thoughts. First of all, let's look at my initial reaction. I loved it. I love Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is my favorite anime of all time. I don't watch a lot of anime. I can count on one hand the number of anime I've watched. I think it's Black Butler, Death Note, Attack on Titan, Maid-sama, and Sailor Moon. And I only watched Attack on Titan because my boyfriend wanted me to watch it, which I'm very thankful he did. It's a very good anime. And then, the other three my friends told me to watch, and I don't think I even finished Maid-sama. But I loved Sailor Moon. She is an icon for a reason. I, unlike many who criticize the show and are manga purists and love Crystal, liked the filler episodes. It gave me more of these characters to fall in love with, and it built upon the characters. A lot of people say it didn't develop the characters very well, and I can agree with it didn't develop them well, but you can't say it didn't develop them at all. Did these developments always last? No, and that's a criticism I have of the series. I wish that the character development, specifically with Usagi, had been far more present. Usagi's character development was present in times of dire need, in times of crisis. When she was in her final battle, you could see her strength. I wish we got to see that more in just regular episodes of the series. I wish we had seen that more throughout the show and throughout her everyday life. They definitely got across that her strength is not in her intelligence or in her, brute athleticism, but in her heart. I just wish we'd seen a lot more of that throughout the series and a lot more of her maturity, because she does mature. I also wish Chibiusa was less annoying. I've seen clips of Crystal and I've heard a lot about it. Chibiusa was never meant to be as mean and annoying as she is in the 90s anime. Which is not to say that I don't think her being spoiled and bratty and annoying is bad characterization. I think it's perfect characterization. First of all, she's Usagi's daughter, and she's a lot like her mother. Second of all, she is Neo Queen Serenity and King Endymion's only child. She's quite spoiled. Third, canonically, though she's 900 years old, she's actually 6 or 7. She's a child. She's a little kid. She's gonna do bratty things, and she's an only child. Her parents have very well spoiled her. However, I do wish she was a little bit nicer to Usagi and a little bit less annoying. This is an argument my best friend and I have. She's always like, Chibiusa's an asshole. Chibiusa sucks. And I'm always like, well, she's meant to be bratty and annoying. I'll agree that it's, to the up 10th degree, but she's made to be bratty and annoying. And lastly, I want to talk about the voice acting. I loved the voice actors. A lot of people complained that oh, the voice acting's terrible and they're so annoying. They say that Stephanie Sheh is really annoying. I think Stephanie Sheh did a perfect job. I've heard people say that you can't tell the difference between Sailor Mars, Christina V, and Michelle Ruff, Luna's voices. I can tell the difference between them perfectly. I can tell the difference between all the voice actresses very, very well, especially among all the Senshi and the cats and like Mamoru and stuff like that. My boyfriend was actually watching it with me, and every time he watches it with me, he watches more anime than I do. So he was sitting there and he's like, what is this actress or this actor? I've heard this voice before. He recognized Johnny Young Bosch. He recognized Michelle Ruff, Christina V, and I cannot remember the other girl's name. Minako's voice actress. He recognized Minako's voice actress. She was in like Persona 5 or something, and he recognized her. He recognized multiple characters from Persona 5. I think Michelle Ruff was also in Persona 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, the only real critique I have is that I wish that at times the voice acting had been more expressive and there'd been a lot more acting there. But for the most part, I really enjoyed the voice acting and I enjoyed the voice actors. Next, let's talk about the art style. Now, the original art style, even though there's Crystal and the manga, is what's really plastered everywhere. I love it quite a lot. I've seen images of Crystal. I've seen clips of Crystal. I'm really not a fan of that animation style. I think I was on Reddit once and I saw someone refer to the Crystal girls as Spaghetti Moon, which I think fits perfectly. Yeah, I'm just like the manga. Drawing a manga and animating an anime are different, and I just am not a fan of that style, but I love the style in the 90s anime. I think it looks a lot more natural, and I think it looks really, really cool. The watercolor backgrounds are very iconic. The aesthetic of, a character being there and then just there being watercolor drawings in the background is something that is absolutely beautiful. I mean, Naoko in her manga did not typically draw backgrounds. That is something you can see from just like random panels that you see on the internet. And in the anime, they didn't really animate the background. Kind of colored it in, which I think is beautiful and I think is perfect and I think works for the aesthetic of the show. The character designs are iconic and adorable and gorgeous. I love all of like the girls, especially the inner senshi. I love the designs of their dresses. I love their civilian wear too. Their civilian wear is adorable. There's this one outfit Usagi wears. It's like a crop top with a black tank top underneath it. I'll find it. It's super cute. And then Rei has this like overall piece that she wears that's so adorable. Overall, the aesthetic is very iconic and very, very timeless. Like, I make Sailor Moon my screensaver for my lock screen quite frequently. Like, just 90s anime stills because I like the 90s anime a lot. And again, the art style is timeless and iconic. Now I want to talk a little about the openings and the end cards. I love all of the openings animation-wise. I think that they are all beautifully done. I think they all look very nice, and I think they all fit the music that they are given. Moonlight Densetsu, nobody can argue, is iconic. It's a bop. Everyone loves it. But in season 5, for Stars, they went and changed the song. I know Naoko Takeuchi wrote the song, and I know she probably approved the change. I just thought it was weird. It's not that I hate the song. I think the song is good. Like, the song grew on me. I just found myself missing Moonlight Densetsu throughout the entire season. And the end cards, I loved all the end cards. I thought they were all great until we got to season 5. And they had the same freaking end card for all of the Stars arc. And like, it was cute for a little, but in all honesty, it was very boring. Like, that is one I remember for just being boring and for not really liking like the puzzle thing going on at that end card. I just wasn't a fan. It's not that I hated it. Again, I like all the end cards. I just think that was really boring and out of place, and like, she overstayed her welcome. Now, I thought something fun to do would be to rank the arcs. Not the seasons, but the arcs, because there are actually multiple arcs in particularly Sailor Moon R. And I just think it's easier to rank the arcs instead of the seasons, because I think Dream Arc actually goes into Stars a little bit. People call it the Nihilenia arc, but I combine the Dream and the Nihilenia arc because they all basically deal with very similar things. They deal with like mirrors, they deal with Queen Nihilenia and her dilemma. I know that Galaxia Chaos comes in and like awakens Nihilenia to like awaken Saturn, but I still loop them into one because we haven't met the Starlights and we haven't met Galaxia yet. We don't know any of the Animamates or all that jazz. Now, I love the whole series. The ranking is literally just a what I love most and what I love least. So we're gonna get started. Before we get started though, know that there are 6 arcs of the anime, 5 of the original, and then there is 1 anime original arc. That arc, from what I know, was there just because they needed to give Naoko more time to like keep her manga ahead of the anime production. That's actually the reason there are so many filler episodes and why there are times when things that happened in the anime that were big plot points did not happen in the manga. They needed to give her time to write the manga because she was literally writing it as the anime was being produced. So let's get started. At number 6, Infinity Arc, which is Sailor Moon S or Season 3. Honestly, what put this at the bottom is I get really annoyed watching this series because as much as I love Haruka and Michiru, Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, they're so annoying and mean and bitchy throughout this entire season. They're just so frustrating. Like, I get it. They have a job to do and they're willing to hurt innocent people to get their mission done. But did you have to be so mean to the inners? Like, was that necessary? Was taking Usagi's brooch necessary? I don't know. It just makes this season my least favorite. Number 5, the Dark Kingdom arc, aka Season 1 or just Sailor Moon. What got it here is that I didn't like how we had that lack of dynamic between Tuxedo Mask and the Inner Senshi. We have this really good dynamic between them all working together as a team in every other season. However, during Season 1, you know, he's kind of against them for a time and then he gets brainwashed, and because of that, it didn't have that extra factor in there that really makes me like the show. 4, the Dream arc or Super S, which is Season 4. I liked it. It just like, I don't really remember a lot of it. Like, I don't remember much of how I felt when I was watching it. Like, I liked the villains. I liked the Amazon trio and the Amazonas quartet a lot. And I did like Nahelenia. It's just one of those things, like, if I was to forget any of these arcs, it probably would be the Dream arc. Just wasn't my favorite. Number 3, the Makai Tree arc, or the first part of Sailor Moon R and Season 2. A lot of people think this arc was unnecessary. I loved Ale and On and the story with the Makai Tree and how they were getting all this human energy when actually all the Makai Tree needed was love from humans and from people in order to thrive and to grow and to continue to give them life. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool. I liked the dynamics between Ale and On and how they had this affinity for Usagi and Mamoru, but they were also in love with each other. It was cute. I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great addition to the series. Number 2, the Stars arc. I think what kept it from being at number 1 is that I really miss Chibiusa and Mamoru. I do like the dynamic between Chibiusa and Mamoru. I like the father-daughter dynamic that's there, and I really, really like Mamoru in general. I like having Mamoru there with Usagi. And again, Chibiusa, I don't hate her. I have a Chibiusa sticker on the back of my car. I mostly have that though because my best friend hates Chibiusa. But I like her. I think she's cool. But yeah, the lack of Chibiusa and Mamoru really kept this from being at number 1. But I did love the Sailor Starlights. A lot of people hate on the Starlights. A lot of people hate on Taiki for being so mistrusting. And you know, Taiki and Yaten could be frustrating at times, you know, blaming Sailor Moon for all of their problems. And then Seiya not really respecting Usagi's relationship with Mamoru, but I was able to look at it more, at least from Usagi's perspective, as like a close friendship, even though Seiya's obviously madly in love with her. And I really think that the Stars arc has the best villains. I love the Animamates and I love Galaxia and her entire story. And Chibi was so cute. I think my favorite thing she ever does is Tinyanko is about to take Sailor Moon's starseed. And there's like a black hole just standing there that Lead Crow has accidentally let go. And Chibi just stands out in front of Sailor Moon and does her arm exactly as I'm gonna do and goes, "No touch!" She's really cute. I love Chibi. And at number 1, my favorite one, if you can use process of elimination, you know it is the Black Moon arc, or Sailor Moon R Part 2, so Season 2 Part 2. This is where we meet Chibiusa and we find out that Neo Queen Serenity and King Endymion are a thing, and we get to find out a lot about the future, about what's gonna happen. I love when we skip to the future. I love the Black Lady situation where Chibiusa is brainwashed and she has to realize that her parents did love her. I'm a sucker for sympathetic villains, and I love how sympathetic the Black Moon Clan are. I mean, Diamond and Sapphire's deaths are just heartbreaking to watch happen. I don't know, I'm a sucker for sympathetic villains. Sailor Moon Classic has a lot of sympathetic villains, and I definitely think this is just the one I like watching the most. I also like Lunapi. I think it's so cute when Chibiusa runs and goes, Lunapi, transform! Also, I like Sailor Pluto. I like Pluto a lot. She's cool. She's great. Anyways, that is my thoughts after rewatching Sailor Moon Classic. Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? I am actually in the process of starting Crystal. I'm in Act 2 right now. Well, I just finished Act 2. It's the one where we meet Sailor Mercury. The next one I have to watch is Meeting Sailor Mars, and so far it's okay. I'll be doing a video like this whenever I finish that one as well. Alright guys, hope you like this video. Stay smart, stay safe, work hard. See you. Bye.